Okay, first thing we need to remove is the gear shifter. It's just a 10mm hexagon on this one. Right, you gotta pull the bolt out fully to be able to slide this off, because the shaft got a groove in the middle. That's it. There's a groove in the middle and that bolt sits in that groove, so even if it come loose, that can't slide off the shifter shaft. Moving on to the foot peg holder, a 14mm bolt both here and there. I did spray this as well. I've put loads of penetrating oil everywhere to make sure I'm not struggling when I'm doing this for you guys. And this whole lot just slides off that way, okay? Simple as that. So we're gonna drain the oil because we're gonna take this whole lot off. That was quite tight. I always like to keep the bolt there a little bit so it doesn't piss too quickly out. Oil doesn't seem to be too bad. It's used. It's not too bad. I think it's... Oh, I didn't want to drop that. I don't think the washer has been changed. To be honest, that seems like it's seized on it, and there is no magnet. So I'm gonna have a look around on the internet if I can find a drain plug with a magnet, and if I do, with the same thread, I'm gonna check the thread. If I do find one, I'm gonna put a link in the description so you can find it yourself as well. I'm gonna put this bolt back in just quickly so it doesn't drip anymore. I'm gonna obviously change the washer and everything, but for now, to carry on with the job, I just put it back in. That's it. So a couple of bolts here changed. This is a 4mm and that's a 4mm. I'm not sure why, but let's start with them to make sure they come out. This should be 10 Newton meter, but it doesn't feel 10. I'm gonna get the heat gun out and I'm gonna heat up all these around and then see if that helps for removing them or not, because that's way too tight and I don't want to strip the head. Let's see if that helped a little bit or not. Oh my god. I can get to the back and I'm gonna put some penetrating oil there. Alright, let's give it more heat. Third time. Oh, seriously. Okay, the two big scary one, these button heads are out, so the rest should be fairly okay. Okay, I think all of them loose. I'm gonna spin them out and now I'll be back. Right, just a little tip for you guys. You can see all the bolts here laying down, and I started with this one and then I put it down and then I moved to the next one, put it down next to it. As I go around, I put the bolts in the order the way they came out, so I know which way it goes back in. And what I usually do is make a photo of this order so it's easier to when you put it together. Right, there are a couple of points where you can put some force on it for the gasket to come off from the engine. One of them is here and the other one is down there, and there is a third one right there. I'm gonna heat this all up, the gasket area, and then start very gently pry it apart from the engine case. It's warm to touch, so it's like probably 40-50 degrees. So I'm gonna start at this point and then just give it a little movement, and there you go, lovely. And just FYI, somebody did use a gasket sealer on it. Here comes the oil. Okay, I think it's only the magnet holding it. Give it a pull and just fight yourself against the magnet. I hope you can see it. I'm not covering it too much. Right. So here it is. It's the flywheel, the magnet. That's the idler gear. Slides out from there. That's locating. This side is locating for that shaft for the idler gear, which is on the starter motor, and here is the starter gear clutch system, which we are going to have a look at. I'm going to take off the idler gear out the way. This is just the shaft, pulls out from there, and then you got this is the gear turning the big one, that one, through the starter, which is just right there, and it just spins it. So it's fairly simple. Okay, I have to mention it that there is no gasket on the stator side, only gasket sealer. See this there? Now this is the problem. What happens when you put too much on? See how much is in there? When you put too much on, all this pushes it inside the engine, and if it comes off, it's going to end up in your oil pump strainer. If you're lucky, it gets stopped there. If you're not lucky, it's getting to the oil feeding system, and it's going to block a little hole somewhere, and you might cause oil starvation in the system somewhere. You don't want that, so avoid this gasket sealer unless it's absolutely necessary. And in this case, this wasn't absolutely necessary, because clearly there is no gasket on it. Absolutely no gasket, just this stupid sealer. Impact time, let's see. Okay, that's full setting now. Yay, lovely. I've noticed that this moves about 3 mil back and forth, look. I can actually make it like whack it like back and forth. We're gonna inspect the starter mechanism, possibly put in the upgraded version anyway, and then we go from there. Okay, so let's pop this bad boy off. So let's put the puller on. This is just an M8 normal thread. I think I'm gonna use the penny washers. When you put these bolts in, I just threaded in by hand. It went in about 7 mil-ish, and you just tie this up in the middle, and then look from a couple of angles to make sure you are parallel to the face of the flywheel, so you make sure you're pulling it evenly. Okay, right, I'm just using this screwdriver to hold it against these bolts so it doesn't turn. Doesn't want to move on for a long time. I'm gonna give it some heat in that boss in the middle, right there. See if it helps a little bit or not. Just gently. What I'm doing now is I just tighten this up fairly tight and just let it sit, and give some heat to that boss in there. Not a lot, just give it a bit of heat, and also spray some RP90 down through the woodroof keyhole to help loosen up the tapered connection. Just keep turning this on a little bit at a time, and just leave it to build up the tension, and then eventually it should give in. So we are stepping up one notch on the removal process. It wouldn't budge. I've got this little torch, and I'm just warming up here in the middle. Try to avoid any heat on the magnets. So yeah, this is what I'm doing for the last hour and a half, trying to get this off. I'll be back hopefully when it's off. As you can see, guys, it's finally off. I can't believe it. It took me, oh my god, days. So what I had to do is I had to use just a big piece of steel, which I I tapped out the same size as the silver line one, and just I think M16 by 1.5, so you can buy it at a couple of pound, £10 tap, and just cut some slots in 120 degrees apart to make this beefier puller. And with that one I managed to pull this thing off finally. I can't believe it. And unfortunately I don't have the time when it popped off, because I just came to it to tighten it up. Was going to set up the camera, came to it to tighten it up a little bit more, and when I did it, it just boom, just popped off. But it took me about 3 days altogether, and I used the 1/2-inch torque wrench, that one. There's a 1/2-inch torque wrench, and basically I tightened it up very tight, so it clicked down at 100 Newton meters, and I had to keep going. So I clicked on 100 Newton meters, and I left it for a day, and then come back next day and put another, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of a turn, and left it overnight again. 1/8 of a turn, and left it overnight again, and it just boom, popped off. The problem with the silver line one is bent like hell and couldn't transfer any more pulling power, so it was a waste of time doing it, and also stripped the thread a little bit in there. Not a lot, but I think it started stripping it. So this wasn't strong enough. The bolts I used was just normal 8/8. You can see. Again, nothing fancy, no need 12.9. But luckily I found the problem, and I'm going to show you next. We're going to move on to the bench. If you watched my previous video, I mentioned about an engine noise which this bike had, and I was like 80% sure it's caused by the starter. And just to show you how I found it, I literally got this off now from the bike, and look at this. See that? It moves about 4 mil around the bolt heads. So when does this? Yeah, I'm not surprised. Why is it so noisy? Also found these little spring ends, shavings inside there. So the spring ends are broken, a couple of them. Like that, see, that one came off. So I'm gonna have to look, maybe there is a refurbishing kit available for it, which I'm pretty sure there is, or get a whole new set of this. I know there is an upgraded version which got 6 rollers, but the rollers are smaller, so I'm not sure on that. I'm not 100% sure. The roller's looking alright, to be honest, and the main gear looking alright as well. But we are here for this one, so we're gonna take this off. This is literally the first. I haven't taken these out, so I don't know what to expect. Look at that. That is unbelievable. It's literally ate up the thread. It's gone down to core diameter. It's got no thread left whatsoever. It's just when it's rocking back and forth, it just kills these bolts. These bolts are, looks like 12.9, so they are high tension bolts. So we're gonna replace them with high tension bolts, but it doesn't seem to have any thread lock on it, which is super duper weird to me, because this would be the first thing I thread lock. Look at the head. The head is absolutely destroyed, as well as here under the head. So let's pop the third one out as well, and then have a look on the body for the, oh my god, you know, I think this was close for giving in, to be honest, and I think I just caught it at the right moment. I should look for cracks in the body, which I can't see right now. Oh, honestly, I can see something there, right there. I can see something, but I don't think it's a crack. I don't think I'm gonna risk removing this whole lot again, because it's a massive pain in the arse. So I think I'm gonna just get a brand new starter clutch. I haven't decided yet it's gonna be the 3 roller or the 6 roller, which is supposed to be an upgrade. So I need to have a look on the price, how much it costs to get a new one of these, and because I don't know, I don't think it's a crack, but I can see a line there, so I'm not gonna risk it. I think that's pretty much normal wear. This is coming from these sliding back and forth. Shouldn't be probably this bad. Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stone this down and make it nice and smooth and get these metal shavings off. I'm 90% sure the bike otherwise in really good shape. The compression test showed us it's pretty good, so I'm quite happy with that. So I'm gonna have to look for some parts. And yeah, that concludes this video, guys. This is how you get it out. I'm so sorry I could not show the actual flywheel removal, but the bloody thing popped off before I started the camera. I apologize, guys, and I hope you learned something. I'm sure I did, and I'm gonna be back with the new starter clutch, and we're gonna put it all back together, more than likely fully back together, and then we're gonna take the engine out and carry on with the rest. Okay, so thank you very much, and I will see you guys in the next video.